Welcome back, everyone. This is part 2 of the 2023-2024 Annual Performance Report webinar for the High School Equivalency Program and the College Assistance Migrant Program. I'm Katrina Ballard, Data and Evaluation Subject Matter Expert for the Office of Migrant Education, and I'm joined by my colleague who will introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Jessica Stein, and I'm a Program Officer with HEP and CAMP.
Great, thanks, Jessica, and we'll go ahead and get started. So here's the agenda for each video recording of our webinar. As a quick reminder, if you haven't yet watched part 1 in the first video, please make sure that you do. We cover several important updates to this year's Annual Performance Report, or APR. So this is part 2, and in this video, we will cover APR Block A definitions, tips for completing the APR, the interim performance report, and the submission process and next steps. So next we'll go into the Block A definitions. This slide illustrates the first two data points in both the HEP and CAMP APR data form, which is number funded and number served, and we'll talk about the difference between them. So number funded means the number of participants officially funded by the grant in this reporting period. You can serve more students than the number for which you are funded, but the number to be funded cannot be amended or changed. The number you report in the APR should match the number you propose to serve in your approved application. If a grantee serves fewer students than the number funded, then their performance measure 1 is calculated using the number funded to be served. The number served is the number of students that are actually served in the HEP or CAMP project. And if grantees serve more students than the number funded to be served, performance measure 1 for that grantee is calculated using the number served. So here's the HEP specific definition for number served. So for HEP, the number served is the number of HEP High School Equivalency, or HSE, eligible students who complete intake and were enrolled and attending HEP HSE instruction for at least 12 hours of instructional services in this reporting period, or who were enrolled for the sole purpose of taking the HSE assessment in the reporting period. This is the CAMP-specific definition for number served. So the number of CAMP students who completed intake and were enrolled in attending college courses past the date when students can no longer add or drop courses or a census date, whichever is the point when a student's official enrollment status for the academic term is evaluated. Now we'll dive into the rest of the Block A definitions. There's some overlap in definitions with HEP and CAMP, but we'll review the definitions for each program separately to make sure that they're clear for each program. We're going to think about these terms in 2 ways. The first group of terms reports the status of the students when they begin or start the reporting period. So were they a new participant or a returning participant? The second group of terms reports the student's status at the end of the reporting period. So did they achieve one of the performance measures? Meaning for HEP, did they attain an HSE? Were they placed in post-secondary education or training, upgraded employment, or the military? For CAMP, did they complete their first academic year of post-secondary education in good standing? Did they continue their post-secondary education? If they didn't do any of these things, they were either a persister, meaning they enrolled for the next budget period, or if they did not re-enroll, they withdrew from the project. Okay, so we'll go into the Block A terms for HEP, starting with the student status at the start of the budget period you are reporting, which for us now is 2023-2024. So this is section A1. So new participants for HEP. They completed intake and were enrolled and attending HSE instruction for at least 12 hours in the budget period you are reporting. So students who participated in HEP services during budget periods other than the immediately previous budget period are also considered new participants. If these students didn't re-enroll for the reporting period before the last APR due date in time to be counted as persisters, you would report them as new participants, not returning participants. And then on the other hand, returning participants completed intake but didn't attain an HSE in the budget period immediately previous to the one being reported. So for this year, that would be the 2022-23 budget period. And they were counted as persisters in that immediately previous budget period. And they re-enrolled for HEP before last year's APR due date, which was November 9th, 2023. So then in the current budget period, 2023-24, they were enrolled and attending HSE instruction for at least 12 hours. So the previous reporting period's persisters are the current year's returning students. The number of returning participants should equal the number of persisters, including persisters from the 5th year of the grant, from the budget period immediately previous to the one being reported. Remember that students who return to HEP in the current reporting period from any budget period other than the immediately previous budget period are also to be reported as new participants in the current reporting period. Now we're going to go over terms that refer to student status at the end of the budget period that you're reporting for 2023-2024. So this is section A2. So persisters for HEP, they completed intake and were enrolled in attending HEP HSE instruction for at least 12 hours in the current budget period, but did not attain an HSE. And they either re-enrolled for continuing instructional services in support of an HSE in the subsequent budget period prior to this year's APR submission due date, so that's October 17th, or they re-enrolled for the sole purpose of taking the HSE assessment in the subsequent budget period prior to the APR submission due date, October 17th. So the current reporting period's persisters will become the next reporting period's returning students. Please note that persisters can be counted in all years of the 5-year grant cycle. So students who are counted as persisters in the 5th year's performance report will be counted as returning students in year 1 APR of the next grant. Attainers for HEP are HEP HSE eligible students who received an HSE certificate by the end of the reporting period. To best capture this data, projects should maintain a database of the students enrolled, identifying those students who attain an HSE, the date of HSE attainment, which is the actual date that the student took the last HSE exam, and the HSE credential or identification number. Returning students who do not complete HSE coursework but do attain an HSE are counted as attainers. Of students who attained an HSE in the current reporting period, for students who are placed, you report the number who entered post-secondary education or training programs, upgraded employment, or the military. In situations where students attained multiple placements, please count each student only once for the total in the APR. The placement status should be captured anytime after the HSE is attained, but before the performance report is due for that same reporting period, and it should be based on actual placement and not anticipated placement. Withdrawals are the number of served HEP students who complete intake and were enrolled in attending HEP HSE instruction for at least 12 hours in the current reporting period and left the HEP project without attaining an HSE, or they did not return for instruction in the subsequent budget period prior to the APR due date. So they would not be persisters. If a student who is in withdrawn status for the current reporting period returns to project services after the APR is submitted, they should complete the intake process again and be counted as a new student in that subsequent budget period. Now we'll check for understanding for the status of a student at the start of the reporting period. So Anna completed intake for HEP and attended 50 hours of instruction in 2022-2023, which is the budget period immediately before the one being reported. She did not attain her HSE. In December of 2023, during the budget period you're reporting, she re-enrolled in and attended 20 hours of HEP instruction. This was after the APR due date of November 9th, 2023, so Anna was not reported as a persister in 2022-2023. So how should Anna be reported in the 23-24 budget period? Is she a new or returning participant? We'll reveal the answer. Anna is a new participant because she was not reported as a persister. She did not re-enroll in HEP until after the APR due date the prior year, so she should be reported as a new participant. So now, one quick note, if you want to learn more about the difference between persisters and returning students, you can check out our technical assistance video posted on the OME website. The website resources are linked at the end of the webinar. And now I'll turn it over to Jessica, who's going to review the Camp Block A definitions.
Thank you, Katrina. Now we will review Camp Block A terms. We will start with terms for A1. This diagram illustrates the definition of new participants for camp. They are participants who completed intake, enrolled full-time, and are attending college past the date when students can no longer add drop courses or census date. And students who participate in camp services during budget periods other than the immediately previous budget period, they are considered new participants. The count would also include any student who participated in camp services in the immediately previous budget period, but was not counted as a persister at the end of that budget period because they did not enroll in the camp services during the current reporting period until after the APR was submitted. Returning participants are camp first academic year college students who completed intake in the budget period immediately previous to the one being reported, but did not complete the first academic year of college, re-enrolled for camp before last year's APR due date, and were reported as persisters in the last budget period, and are attending camp instruction full-time past the add drop date during the current budget period, which is the reporting year of 2023-2024. Please note the following. The number of returning participants must equal the number of persisters, including persisters from the 5th year of the grant from the budget period immediately before the one being reported. In other words, the previous reporting period's persisters are the current year's returning students. Students from the immediately previous budget period who return to the camp project during the current reporting period after the due date for the APR must be reported as new participants. Next, we will review terms for A2. Persisters are camp first academic year college students who completed intake and were enrolled in attending college courses past the date after which students can no longer add courses or census date, whichever is the point when a student's official enrollment status for the academic term is evaluated, and did not complete their first academic year of college and enrolled for continuing instructional services in support of completing their first academic year of post-secondary instruction in the subsequent budget period prior to this year's APR submission due date. Remember, the number of persisters in the current reporting period will be the number of returning students in the next reporting period. First-year completers must be enrolled at the institution of higher education in camp with full-time status during all academic terms of the regular academic year and have successfully completed their first academic year in good standing. The first academic year includes the completion of a minimum of 24 semester or trimester credit hours, or 36 quarter credit hours, or 900 clock hours for a program measured in clock hours. A student has successfully completed the first academic year if the student has met the IHE's requirements for passing coursework associated with those hours. Please also consult the APR instructions regarding credits earned in high school and remedial coursework. Continuing students are those students who completed their first academic year of college and continued in post-secondary education programs. To be counted as continuing in post-secondary education, the student must re-enroll in an IHE in the academic year immediately following the one in which they are reported as being a first academic year completer, and must remain enrolled past the date when students can no longer add drop courses, or a census date, whichever is the point when a student's official enrollment status for the academic term is evaluated. This measure should be taken anytime after the first academic year of college is completed and before the performance report is due, and it should be based on actual enrollment and not on anticipated enrollment. Withdrawals are the number of camp students who completed intake and were enrolled in and attending college courses past the IHE's date after which students can no longer add courses, or census date, whichever is the point when a student's official enrollment status for the academic term is evaluated, but who left the camp project without completing the first academic year of college and did not re-enroll for instruction in the camp project by the APR due date of the subsequent budget period. Now we will check for understanding. Jaime completed intake for camp and was enrolled in and attending college courses past the add drop date during spring of 2024. That's the reporting period that you are reporting. He did not complete his first academic year of college during the 2023-2024 reporting period. He did not enroll in camp before the APR due date of October 17th, 2024. How should Jaime be counted? Is he a completer, a persister, or a withdrawal? So now we'll reveal the answer. Jaime is not counted as a persister because he didn't re-enroll for camp. For this reason, he is reported as a withdrawal. For more resources on the difference between persisters and returning participants, please visit the OME's website. Now we will review tips for completing the APR. We'll begin with a review of the performance report data form. While you complete each block of the data form, please refer to the APR instructions that the OME sent via the listserv. On blocks A, C, and E of the performance report data form, you will see a data input accuracy result of either good job or please check in a green box. Hidden formulas are making the calculations for these green boxes. Good job indicates that the totals appear to be accurate because they match other totals found in the file. If you receive a please check error, please check your data for accuracy. Lastly, please do not alter any sections of the data form. The formatting and formulas must remain consistent for all data submissions. Next, we will review Block A. In Block A, you will enter data on the number of students served and the numbers of students achieving project objectives. Items from Block A are used to calculate performance measures and the success efficiency ratio. In the green boxes at the top, please enter your grantee name, PR number, and grant year. In the turquoise boxes, please enter your data. If you're not reporting data, please enter a 0 into the cell. The 0 serves as confirmation that you did not intend to enter data. Please note the different requirements for HEP and camp reporting. This is a partial screenshot of the HEP data form. For HEP, you're reporting high school equivalency, that is HSE, attainers, and for camp, you are reporting first year academic year completers. In the turquoise box at the bottom, please enter the annual award amounts. This is the amount found in the grant award notification known as a GAN. We find that not entering the amount into this cell is a common submission error. It can be difficult to see this particular cell due to its location on the form. After you've entered all data into the turquoise cells, performance measures 1 and 2 and the success efficiency ratio will automatically populate. Next, we will review the Block B tab. In Block B, you are reporting student participant information. This is a screenshot of the CAMP data form. Both HEP and CAMP projects report the number of students receiving instructional and financial support services. HEP projects report total instruction hours received by all HEP students and HEP attainers. CAMP projects do not report total instruction hours. Instead, they report referral data. For example, CAMP projects report the numbers of students referred from HEP, MEP, and NFJP. If a student was referred by 2 or more programs, please select one referral category for the student. Each student should be only counted once. Please avoid reporting duplicate data. Next, we will review Block C, where you will report the project services information. This slide includes a screenshot of HEP's Block C tab. HEP staff report data on the numbers of commuter and residential students and the mode of instruction that Katrina reviewed earlier in this webinar. HEP staff also report languages provided, the type of institution, whether it's 2-year or 4-year institution or nonprofit, and which HSE assessment the project is using. Now I'm showing CAMP's Block C tab. CAMP staff also report the location, that is commuter or residential, and the institution type. Additionally, CAMP staff report the academic calendar, that is whether it's a semester, quarter, or trimester. Next, we will review Block D. Block D is identical for both HEP and CAMP. In Section 1, please enter your program objectives as stated in your approved application, the corresponding performance measures and outcomes for each objective. For each objective, you may need to report multiple sub-objectives. Outcomes should reflect your project's progress toward each objective as of June 30th of 2024. Please be descriptive and provide data to describe your outcomes. Now we'll review Section 2 of Block D. This section only pertains to projects in their final year. Outcomes should reflect your project's progress as of the end of your grant project. Please be descriptive and provide data to describe your outcomes. Lastly, we will review Blocks E and F. You will report financial information in Block E. Column A of the budget table includes the proposed carryover. This is the amount you have carried over from the previous year. Each dollar amount in this category must be positive and accurately reflect how much carryover you have remaining. Column B includes the recommended amounts. The sum of these recommended amounts must be your total annual award amount. The cell for the sum is circled in red. This is the amount found on your GAN and reported in Block A. Column C includes your total approved and revised budget amounts. This column is the sum of your carryover and recommended amounts and is automatically calculated. You do not input any data into this column. Column D includes your actual expenditure amounts. This is what you actually spent in 2023-2024. The indirect cost total must be no greater than 8% of your direct cost total, and the total expenditure amount must match the amount reported on your cover sheet. The cell for the total expenditure is circled in red and cannot exceed the total amount in column C. Please consult your budget office to ensure accuracy. As noted earlier, please check your reported amounts carefully for accuracy and enter totals into any blank cells. In Block F, which is located below the budget table, you will see the 2 optional prompts listed on this slide. Provide responses to these prompts if they apply, or if you would like to provide further explanation or information. Now I will turn it over to Katrina for a review of the interim performance report and important dates.
Thanks, Jessica. So we'll review briefly the interim performance report. As we mentioned briefly at the beginning of part 1, new projects and grantees who were notified of not making substantial progress for FY 2022 and 2023 are required to submit an interim performance report or IPR by February 6, 2025. The reporting period is a 7-month period from July 1, 2024 to January 24th, 2025. More details will be available in the coming months, so please make sure you're receiving listserv messages. And if you're not receiving those messages, please let your program officer, Dylan or Jessica, know. To close out, we'll review some important dates and next steps. So APRs are due this year on Thursday, October 17th, 2024. The OME Data and Evaluation Team will review the APRs for accuracy and completeness between October 2024 and November of 2024. Then the OME Data and Evaluation Team provides feedback in an email to grantees. Based on this feedback, grantees who need to make corrections must resubmit required performance data to the OME within 5 business days after receiving OME's email. The OME team will review the revised APRs for accuracy and completeness in December of 2024, and then the team will provide feedback in an email to grantees by January of 2025. And then based on that feedback, grantees must again resubmit required performance data to OME 5 business days after the email. To submit APRs, IPRs, and FPRs, please email 2 attachments, which would be the cover sheet and the data form, to the email address listed on this slide, hepcampapr@ed.gov. Also this year, final year grantees have the option of attaching their final project evaluation. Please use the PR number for your project and your institution's name in the subject line of the email. And the APR itself will be composed of 2 files, the performance report data form, which is an Excel spreadsheet, and the cover sheet, which is a Word document that you should submit as a PDF. Each of these files should be saved and attached using the naming convention that includes your PR number, name of your institution, and the year 2024, each separated by a period or a dot. This naming convention will help you and OME keep better track of your emails to us, since many grantees have multiple grants and sometimes APRs and IPRs and FPRs can get mixed up. The OME websites for HEP and CAMP list several links that you can reference while completing the APR, such as the forms and instructions, along with our optional self-check resource. You can also view a technical assistance video that explains the difference between persisters and returning students. And there are other previous webinar recordings and links to resources on evidence and evaluation. Last, we'll have an optional office hours for the APR on Thursday, September 12th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Teams link has been shared via the HEP Camp listserv. And as you can see here, you have the OME team and their email addresses. So please feel free to contact us with any specific questions you may have in the meantime. And again, we're always happy to connect and discuss any questions or concerns you have about the APR. Thanks for joining us. We really look forward to speaking with you all at the office hours and hearing from you if you have questions before then. Take care, everyone.